Alright guys, so in this video I'm going to be discussing the possible LEGO sets that are on the verge of retirement and which ones maybe might be a good investment if you're into that type of thing, just buying the sets, keeping them sealed, or if you just want to buy a set before it possibly goes up in price. Of course, when it does get retired, it makes it a little bit harder to purchase it brand new, and normally the set will be going up in value by at least, I'd say, $30 or $40, depending on the price, immediately when it does get retired. And really, the only sealed versions you can find of it would be on something like eBay. So let's just go through a few sets that released in, like, I'd say 2020 that could be on the verge of retirement. So this is the smaller AT-AT. I view this AT-AT as perfect if you are trying to buy multiple of these. Of course, I am going to be talking about the massive AT-AT as well in this video that was released a little bit later than this one, but this launched on August 1st of 2020. It's going on 2 years and almost 8 months now. You would figure maybe when it hits the 3-year mark, it might retire. Currently, it's retailing for $170. Will this thing really go up much in value? I don't think it's going to go up a ton. I do think you'll see a little spike just because it is LEGO Star Wars. It is a pretty good, well put together AT-AT. This is not one I would really be investing into, but if you did want to buy multiple AT-ATs, I would consider buying this set before it does become harder to find, or you could just buy it used at really any point for almost, I'd say, 3/4 of the price. People don't like buying Legos used, but if you're trying to buy multiples of it, I really don't see an issue in terms of that. This would probably be my #1 pick right now if there's a set that's possibly on the verge of retirement. The Master Builder series. This is the second set in it. The Mos Eisley Katina set with LEGO Star Wars. This one coming out in October of 2020. Currently on shelves for $400. I think the second that this retires, this is a beautiful set, by the way. I didn't really look at it all too well before, but looking at it now, the interior design of it, the overall seating, the overall atmosphere, I really like it. It's just really well done, extremely detailed, and I do think the second that it retires, the sealed boxes will probably immediately go up by about $50 or $60, and it'll just keep going up in value in time. So when you look at the date, October 2020, how long does it have left? Maybe a few months, maybe a year. I'm sure if you've already bought it, you're probably going to want it to retire ASAP, so there's not as many out there. It makes it more rare, but this is one that I would definitely be in on right now because it did release in 2020, and you'd have to figure it's coming to the end of its time on shelves and at the LEGO store. The Republic gunship, so taking a look at this one, I'm not really a big fan in terms of the price at $400, but this is the Ultimate Collector Series, and it's a bigger set, so immediately you would have to think it's a pretty good investment. It did come out in August of 2021, so it hasn't even been 2 years. It's probably going to have a shelf life you would think of around 2.5 years, at the most 3 years, probably at the least 2 years on the dot. But there's another one. It's guaranteed to go up in value if you just buy a sealed one right now. You're looking at about, I don't know, what, $470 with taxes. Maybe you get a coupon, something like that. It'll go up in value, I'm sure, just because it's part of the Ultimate Collector Series, and especially the sealed sets will rise in terms of overall value. This is the bigger AT-AT, so this set has now been on shelves and in the LEGO store for just over a year and 4 months. It is currently costing right around $850, and it is going to be one of the legendary LEGO Star Wars sets, the overall pieces. I don't know what the future is of LEGO Star Wars. I'm not sure if they're just going to keep making bigger and bigger AT-ATs, but I do think there's a decent chance this could be the biggest AT-AT we see over the next decade. And if that's the case, and if it ends up getting retired, this would be a good investment. I think the big problem is this came out in 2021 with such a massive set. They tend to keep it available for purchase for 4, maybe 5 years, so that could be an issue. But this is like one of the core sets for Lego Star Wars in the future that everyone's going to want. So I would say at this point, the only major issue, it's going to cost a lot, $850 without tax. You know, the price per piece at around 12.5 cents. That's not great, but that's normally what you see with Lego Star Wars, unfortunately, and it is very good. And then you do have the Millennium Falcon, the newer one. This is the biggest Lego Star Wars set in history currently. Will they make something bigger? I personally hope they make some type of Ewok set, like a base or a Hoth base that's bigger. That's just me, you know, maybe, but they're probably not going to do that. This will probably be the biggest one for a while, coming out in October of 2017, so it's been on shelves for a while. You would have to figure that a lot of people probably already own this. A lot of people are probably sitting on sealed versions of this Millennium Falcon, but with it being the current biggest Star Wars set, if it keeps that title for at least a decade or so, or at least a few years after it retires, this thing's immediately going to go up in value by probably $200 or $300 sealed the day that it does retire, and we'll have to see what that ends up being, but it's going on 5 years now. You know, I know it's huge, so Lego's probably going to want to keep it on shelves, but overall, that's one to buy. Next, it is the Lego Titanic, of course, which did launch over a year now. So this is going to be one of the GOATs in Lego history, I think. The amount of pieces, one of the biggest sets in history. Price per piece at around 7.5 cents, 9,000 total pieces. Yeah, you're going to want to buy this thing. I know they limit it to 2 per household, which really shouldn't be an issue. You can buy one, you can build it, you can hold on to the other one. It is going to be pretty expensive, but still, when you compare it to Lego Star Wars sets, that price point at $680, you know, there's so many people that love the Titanic. There's going to be so many future generations that love the Titanic. Unless they outdo this one and somehow build a bigger, more detailed Titanic, which seems pretty unlikely, this is going to be a really, really good set to own, but there is a big drawback. You know, it released just a year ago. It's probably going to stay on shelves and in the Lego store for multiple more years. So, I mean, in terms of buying this and hoping it gets retired and trying to use it as an investment, it's going to take a while, but certainly this is going to be one of the best ones, the best Lego sets ever. The bigger version of the Eiffel Tower, which did recently come out in 2022. This is another one probably. Imagine if it retired today. That'd be crazy, but yeah, this is just 5 months old. It's going to be on shelves for many, many more years. $630, price per piece at around 6 cents, which is pretty comparable to the Titanic. I would buy the Titanic over this personally. I think it'll do better in the long run, but this is the better Eiffel Tower. There was an older Eiffel Tower, I know, but this is kind of like the updated version that's taller, that has more pieces, things like that. The Colosseum came out in 2020. There's another set, Landmark Series, Icon Series. It's a beautiful looking set. You know, originally I think it was the biggest set of all time. It since has kind of fallen to like 4th or 5th place. And the price per piece, really impressive, 6.1 cents. Right around 9,000 pieces, retailing for $550. It's been in the store for well over 2 years now. When will it retire? I don't know. It's probably got another year and a half at least, I would say. The Haunted House, so this is one I would really consider buying. So I think the Haunted House, the reason it's going to do so well when it retires is because there's really not much of a genre for buying a Lego set and displaying it during the month of October. I know there was like a train, maybe a Harry Potter train that was kind of that October vibe, but the Haunted House, its current price, $300. It is expensive. It's really like its own genre, I feel like. So the Haunted House and then that Lego Star Wars set, these two would probably be my number 1 and number 2 in terms of sets to buy right now that are on the verge of retirement that will immediately go up in value when they are retired if you have them factory sealed. Because I just think people are going to want, Lego fans in the future are going to want to display something during Halloween, and we know how Lego is now. It's super in-depth. You can do 100 different things. You can buy Halloween lights and light up the haunted house. you know, I would be tempted to buy something like this. I love, you know, Halloween's my favorite holiday. This is a beautiful looking set, especially lighting it up with like an orange type, you know, light to it. It just looked great. So the haunted house for sure. The problem is it's $300, you know, it's a little expensive, but it is over 3,000 pieces, so rather very cool. This is one of the modular buildings, so this is the police station. I think this is the worst modular building they've had. It does not look like a police station. I don't know why they didn't use the signature black and white to signify police. They could have made something really cool. I mean, it has a lot of pieces. Just the overall design and the color of it is terrible. There's just no denying it. You could have... I just think that it just does not look like a police station. So, but we all know the modular buildings, they're going to be a classic. The second they retire, they go up in price, especially brand new ones. This one, price per piece, around 7 cents is good, considering it's only $200. And the second that it retires, they're probably going to mark it up on eBay. It's probably going to be like $270. That's normally what we see from the modular buildings when they do end up retiring. It's been on shelves now for over 2 years, so I would say it's getting close at this point. The other modular, you do have the bookshop. This one coming out January of 2020, so this has got to be right on the verge of retiring. It does have less pieces than the police station, but it is still $200. But there's another one I would say. I like the bookshop better. It's not my favorite personally, but to me it does look better than the police station, and I would say this one is even closer to retirement than the police station. And then the Hogwarts Castle. So this is a beautiful set. This is kind of like the only massive set that I do own, the Hogwarts Castle, just because I think it looks so cool. It's such an amazing build. Coming out in 2018, it's massive. It's one of the biggest Lego sets, you know. It costs right around $470, and it will immediately go up in value when it does retire. Any Harry Potter fan, any Lego Harry Potter fan is going to want to own this even after it retires. The Home Alone set could be an interesting buy. We'll have to see how the Lego Ideas sets do. I've seen a few of them that have retired. They seem to go up by about 40 or 50 bucks, but this is the biggest Lego Ideas set in terms of pieces. Just under 4,000 pieces. If you're a Home Alone fan, this would be something. It's almost like a Christmas decoration. You can bring it out. You can light it up during Christmas time, things like that. Coming out in 2021, it probably has at least 2 or 3 more years on shelves or in the store, so it's not like you have to buy it right now, but this is something that would be an interesting investment for when it does retire. And then possibly the treehouse as well. This is another thing, kind of an autumn vibe. You can see, I would probably just put the autumn leaves on it. You kind of have the option, like in the summer, you can put the green leaves on it. When it's fall time, you can put the autumn leaves on it. So that is a cool aspect of it. Came out in 2019. And if you're looking to, you know, I don't know, it just seems like a cool set overall that I could go up in value, considering how big it is, with right around 3,000 pieces in terms of that. So guys, those are just some Lego sets that I would say possibly when they do retire will immediately go up in value. There are some, I mean, the Titanic for sure, the massive AT-AT, the Lego Star Wars Cantina, that's possibly my #1 right now because I do think it is on the verge of retirement. In the Master Builder series. Do they only have 2 sets in the Master Builder series? I think they do. Yeah, so the other one is the Betrayal of Cloud City, and that one has gone up significantly, I believe, since it retired, if I remember correctly. So that is definitely one. With it coming out in October of 2020, I would certainly look at pinpointing. But really, any of the extremely big sets, they're going to be good investments inevitably. You're just going to have to. The only issue is if they release a newer, better version of it. That's when the investment gets ruined. That's the only way. Like the only way like buying a Lego Titanic, the only way that could be a bad investment in the long run is if they keep it on shelves forever. Or as if they make a new one with more pieces. That's the only way it becomes a bad investment. Same thing with Eiffel Tower. Same thing with the Colosseum and things like that. The other thing you do have to worry about Are they just going to keep making bigger and bigger Lego sets, and then by the time the Titanic retires, is it like 11th place on the biggest Lego sets? That's going to kind of bring it down a little bit, but I do think there's such a base and so many Titanic fans eventually that will want this set in the coming years when it does retire. The demand should be a lot bigger than the supply in terms of the sealed sets, and it should drive its price up significantly. You just got to hope it doesn't sit on shelves and in the store for like 5 or 6 more years, which it might do. We don't know what they're going to do with a massive sets like that. I mean, you take a look at the Millennium Falcon, it's still sitting on shelves right now, going on 5 or 6 years. So, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.